So, in the topic of universal basic income, the factors that the change in process are is some materialistic factors, as economic production and technology are directly responsible for the change that will be occurring. The automation is a direct example of an increase in economic production and efficiency through technology, which will cause huge increases in profits, which would be the reason for the jobs to be cut, causing the problem with, and then universal basic income becoming the solution. And then for the second part, the models of change. The model of social change is linear. So as the advancement goes, the advancement's permanent. It's basically what it's saying. It follows Lenski's model perfectly as the next step in industrialization, with humans having to do less work than before and more money being made overall. So it's just further progression and technological progression. For part three, the theory that best accounts for the change in process would be it's tied mostly to conflict theory. The modern conflict position in general applies well to a universal basic income. There will be a scarcity of jobs because of automation. This inequality will cause strain on society as a large portion of the US population will be unemployed. Modern conflict theorists state that the values and ideas are controlled in the dominant groups, in this case being the corporations and big companies that own all these automated products, you know. And then so the thought being that universal basic income would be a solution and would have to be funded by the rich to keep control. It's kind of like, the cost of business. And then this conflict can be seen already in fast food places where audit machines are taking over more and more jobs, driving, lawyer, like in law, construction, all these places where profit margins will go up with less and less people working. And then so the description of the origin, basically the theory of, the universal basic income, the idea just, as stated before, just originated from all the automation taking over jobs and the high rate of job loss that will occur once technology keeps increasing to the point where it can do jobs for free that instead of having to pay people, which basically is the origin of that. And then so the idea is, let's just give everyone money so they can chase their passions and dreams without having to worry about providing for themselves, since there'll be such a high profit margin. Just there'll be economic booming basically because all this money will be made without any profit loss trying to pay people, basically. So part five, the change agent. The change agent for universal income would be the Democratic Party, especially the leadership of the Democratic Party. This is obviously like a socialist idea, so it'd have to probably be a democratic lead to do that. The goal would obviously be to change in behavior. In this case, it's money, because everyone needs like a basic income to support themselves in this day and age. We're monetary driven. We're driven by money. And it could even be argued that a change in attitude would also need to occur, as a lot of people would view this as people getting like a free ride, because they'll just sit at home and not do anything all day. But I think it would just free up people to chase like their dreams, because if you look at any like research, money doesn't give happiness. It's chasing passions and dreams. So I think it gives people more chances to do that instead of working meaningless 9-to-5 jobs that they don't enjoy. And then target population. Well, the target population is going to be the people that because everyone's going to get the universal basic income. So the people that need to be targeted is just like the big corporations, and convince them to get behind it and raise their tax rates, because they'd probably have to go through the government as stated above. So the big corporations would get taxed a lot more heavily, but their profit margins would already be higher. So it would just be the amount of greed that big corporations have. So that's the target. Because society would benefit overall. And then facilitative strategies being used to recognize the problem. So yeah, facilitative strategies are being used as every single person in the U.S. will be getting money, so the whole community will improve, which is pretty easy. The whole idea revolves around external assistance in the future, and it'll take people self-control, being like employed or like needing to be employed. They won't need that anymore. And then so for the sixth part, the type of a social movement, it'd be a reform, because it'd have to take place within the government. As stated before, there'd have to be like legislation and law, and it'd be a pretty complex issue to set up to have everyone get paid. But I mean, you could argue that Social Security is already kind of set up like that, so it'd just be kind of applying Social Security. Yeah, so you just apply like the principles of Social Security to do that. And then so for the next part, the theory of relative deprivation may be used to describe the origins of where the need for universal basic income will come from. As stated by the theory, the protest would be common during periods of sustained improvement, which is exactly what is happening in terms of improving technology overtaking human jobs. And the people who understand this is happening and the need for the universal basic income are usually well educated, because they know that automation and advances in artificial intelligence are occurring at a rapid rate. This goes perfectly with the second part, saying that those involved are not the most deprived objectively. An actual person who exemplifies this is Elon Musk, as he's a huge proponent in basic income, universal basic income, even though it'll never affect him because he's a billionaire. And then so part 7 in summary, basically the change is not officially going on yet, as it's still in its infancy as an idea, but the effectiveness of this social change will depend on the amount of people affected. So I feel it'll be a large number, so the higher the number, the more likely that something like this will occur. And there's certain countries that have been testing it out, Finland, Canada, and like they've had mixed results, but nothing to the grand scale that would have to occur here. And so I believe that in the relation of people affected, the probability of success is directly related, like I just stated. And then, so yeah, the more people that it affects, the higher the rate of success. And then anything else? So basically, to summarize, the sequence of events in the automation will occur in numerous industries. As I stated before, like, self-driving cars, so, truck drivers would be out, construction jobs, lawyers, all that stuff will be automated. This will leave a large number of people unemployed, and companies' profits will increase. So basically, the same message just being reiterated. This inequality will cause a major rift, and the idea of universal basic income will be used to combat this. It's a very socialist idea, and like probably even considered like utopian. So like probably too like perfect, and like people think this is super socialist, which will have its doubters and naysayers about that, and rightly so. It's never actually worked, so that's something that would have to be talked about. But as machines can do more and more jobs, it makes sense for humanity as a whole to increase the quality of life and like do better because of the machines, rather than just struggle and have more people in poverty and have the upper 0.01% prosper while everyone else falls behind. And that does it.